What are we learning today?
We can learn Hilchos Hashkomas Haboker.
I love it. I love it. Every time you learn something, I want to.
Which right in the beginning of Shulchan Aruch, the first siman, page Aleph.
Very good.
So before we go on, I'd like to say a little word in the parsha. Yeah, we're on. Baruch Hashem. Ray Davis is with us. So it's interesting. The Rambam writes, this week's parsha we learn about Bris Milah. So we know there are Yishmael. It was Yishmael came first. Then came Yitzchak, and then came after. Later on, the Avraham Avinu took Hagar back, and he had more children with Hagar. And those children were called. His wife was called Keturah, second wife. Hagar, right? Like Titus. Chazal say it was Hagar, and he had children with Keturah. So Chazal tell us that Bnei Yishmael himself did a bris milah, but his children that were later on, not chayiv milah. However, the children that Avraham Avinu had later, said Avraham Avinu, you and your children are chayiv milah. So the children of Keturah are chayiv milah. So the Rambam says, since today the Bnei Keturah and the Bnei Yishmael married into each other, and they're all mixed up, because of the suffix, they're all chayiv and bris milah. The Muslims, they do bris milah.
13? No.
I don't know when they do it. They don't do it at 8. I don't know when they do it.
When the baby born.
Baby born, yeah. So
the Bedouin make a brit milah to the woman. They take the clitoris, they cut it. Everyone has to have the pleasure. Till today.
wow.
It's amazing.
So the Rambam says the Bnei Keturah, the Bnei Keturah, they are, since they're all mixed with Bnei Yishmael, we don't know who's who. So they're all the Arabs are chayiv and milah. So the Shagas Aryeh from the big Geonim, Shagas Aryeh had a very stark kasha, famous kasha that he asked in this Rambam. He doesn't understand it. We know, B'chlal, there are certain nations that we're not allowed to marry into. Ammon, Moav, and that we're not allowed to marry into them forever. You're allowed to marry into women from them, you're not allowed to marry into men. Men, you're not allowed to let them come bakal. Also, love bakal. Even if they do gerus, because even if they're a yid, doesn't mean they cannot marry into Kahal Yisrael. Now, what happens if a Mitzri wants to come in? So you have to wait till the third generation. Third generation could come in. And, if they're a ger, and they want to come in. But if the Mitzri himself becomes a ger, cannot marry into Kahal Yisrael. The children can either, the grandchildren. Third Shlishi. Today, we're not makbid in that. We don't say someone's an Egyptian and is a ger, that he has to wait 3 generations. No. And we're not concerned, maybe the nation came from Ammon or Moav, maybe these goyim come. No. If someone becomes a ger, we're allowed to marry them. What's the reason? Why? Don't we have to know where they're from?
But the Egyptians are not real Egyptian.
Oh, so the Gemara says, many times the Gemara discusses this, and the Rambam himself brings it down. Sancheiriv came towards the ending of Bayis Rishon, and he made big milchamas in the world. He was a man of war, fighting and conquered nations. He took Taseres Hashvatim, and he put them. So he had this thing. The way how he controlled was he moved you away from your country. So then they can't rebel against him. They're not in their place anymore. He moved around people. So it says after Sancheiriv came, he mixed up the nations. He moved people here, he moved them there. We don't really know today who's an original Egyptian. The Egyptians, they say they were here without we don't know exactly who's the real original Nats, and Chedev mixed them all up, and it's not shaykh anymore to know this.
But you know, if
So
anyone,
therefore, anyone who comes, again, you accept him. We don't say, maybe you're a Mitzri, maybe you're from Ammon, you're from Moav. Even if they come from Egypt, they come, we might have to worry about security risks and things like that. But if we bypass all of that, they could become a get.
I had a guy here from Mitzrayim, here, eating by me for a long time. He's a seller, and he told me his family looking for him all over the world. Because when you come from Islam to Judaism, they will look after you till they kill you.
Wow.
They're very, very marked at that.
Yeah.
I'm not in contact with him for a year, but
Wow.
he ate by me for a lot of, you see the Torah he's saying, and beautiful.
We had that story with that guy who made believe he converted. Remember a few years ago?
Yeah,
The guy.
That's a strong.
No, in America, he went and married. He married a girl here.
In Lakewood.
No, a girl from
yeah,
Flatbush.
No, but I said the Chazana was in Lakewood.
Maybe I don't know the chasana was, but the girl was from here, from Flatbush. You know what their family was?
I know the girl.
Oh boy, you know the girl herself.
My daughter went with her
Oh, I
a
remember
few
the story.
times to Shabbatot.
I think it was in the Syrian community.
Single.
No?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
And we met her in Israel because he went to Israel to learn after all this
After the marriage.
after the marriage, but the divorce. And she went to his rabbi in Israel. He didn't want to give a get or something. I don't know what's.
You don't need to give a gift. It's a good.
Huh?
He never gave a
Yeah,
get or no?
I
Is
don't
it
know
good?
what happened again. But he claimed that he converted, and his rabbi that said he converted.
Anyway.
So the Maisa was this.
That's fine.
So ask the Shagasari. We always say we don't. What's the klal? The klal is that we say man de parish, meiruba parish. This guy who's coming, this guy who comes before us in the Bezdin, and he says, "I want to be Megayer." We say he's Polish from the Roiv. This Roiv goyim are mutalave bakol. Only miut are aser. This guy comes to you, he's from the Roiv. Go after the Roiv. He's from the Roiv, he's not aser. Says Shagas Aryeh, I don't understand the Rambam. The Rambam says that Bnei Torah became mixed with Bnei Yishmael. So now they're all mixed together. They're all chayiv and milah. Says, ask the Shagas Aryeh, what do you mean? Sanchev already mixed up the whole world. So we don't know really who's really Bnei Yishmael and who's really Bnei Keturah. So Ebazoi, then no one should be chayiv. Why should they be chayiv?
Rabbi, what about
after-
Bnei Esav?
You
Esav.
go after the Roiv goyim in the world. Roiv umas in the world.
Esav didn't have a bris milah, neither did his children.
Esav is not chayiv in bris milah.
Why?
Right?
Why? He was the son of Yitzchak. He was a brother of Yaakov.
Asa was born a Jew.
No, but Tzivui al Abraham.
Well, that's a good question. B'chalal, what was Esav's status? That's a good shaila. What was Esav's status? He must probably had a bris. He's asking, Davis is asking that Esav is a chassan of Yitzchak. Right? He's chayiv in milah.
For sure. I mean, he's Yaakov's brother. I mean, what? Twin.
So Lamaisa, yeah, I had the shaila. Lamaisa, the Shagasari says, I don't understand. When it comes to someone love a bakol, to come into the community, we say you go after the roiv. Why don't you go after the roiv by bris milah of bnei Keturah and say the roiv umasa'oila manat chayiv in bris milah. So also the bnei Keturah not chayiv anymore today. So why are they chayiv misafik? This is what he asks. So comes along a son of the Noida Yehuda, and the son of Noida Yehuda, he brings this question in the name of the Shagasari, and he has an answer. He says like this. He says the whole klal, the whole rule of the Geshmaka answer. The whole idea of Acher Rabim Lahates, that you go after Roiv, is by Bnei Yisrael, not by Bnei Noach.
Mhm.
You don't go after Roiv by Bnei Noach. So he says like this. When it comes to a Yid marrying into a Goy, it's Negeya to the Yid. By a Yid, we go by the Roiv. So I say that the guy that comes before me, he's Mutter Lavei Bakol. Because Roiv Goyim, you go by Roiv. Roiv Goyim and Mutter Lavei Bakol. Because Klal Yisrael follow a rule, Acher Rabim Lahatis. But by Bnei Noach, they don't have to follow this rule of Roiv. And therefore, since Bnei Yishol and Bnei Tura are mixed in together, so therefore, they're still chayiv because you don't go after the roiv.
We don't say by them, bro.
You don't say by them roiv.
But you don't know who they are.
So now, Oivazoi, according to what his explanation, that's the answer that need to be Huda. Comes of the schap, and he says that roiv doesn't apply to bnei noach. By bnei noach, you don't go basa roiv. Therefore, even though other ummes, you don't go basa roiv, and they're still chayiv and milah. You can't mavatel them b'roiv. We say the klal roiv when it comes to who's a yid allowed to marry. By a yid, you apply roiv. For him, it's the roiv goyim, so you're allowed to for the yid. But between the goyim themselves, we don't say a concept of roiv. Ask the minchas chinuch. I don't understand. I don't understand this answer. Oy bazoi. It's not just the Bnei Yishmael should be chayiv and milah. All the 70 nations of the world, all Shivim Ummah should be chayiv and milah. If you don't, now that Sanchedav mixed up the whole world,
It's the whole world.
is the whole world's all mixed up.
Yeah, but there's no...
You don't go basarayv. According to you, you don't go basarayv. I should say all the ayin ummas are chayav and misafik because by goyim you're chayish even for the miut. You don't go basarayv. But the Rambam doesn't write that. The Rambam writes only bnei Yishmael and bnei Keturah are chayav because today we don't really know who's who. So the Maisa, the question goes back. The original question of the Shagas Aryeh, that l'chayda, if basically, if you say we don't go basarayv, then all the goyim, not only bnei Yishmael, all goyim in the world should be chayiv because they're all mixed up, and we don't go basarayv. If you say we do go after rayv, and since they're all mixed up, even bnei Yishmael and bnei Keturah should not be chayiv because everyone's mixed up today. So mimanashach. Wherever you go, we don't understand this Rambam that he said that they're chayiv misafik. Either don't be mechayiv anyone or be mechayiv everyone. Where does that come?
But למה הרמב"ם כתב את זה?
Misaf, what?
Why the Rambam wrote it down?
That's the
For what?
shayla.
No, I mean, what is the
B'chalal?
nafkamina? Because we don't know who are they. We don't know who is Bnei Ishmael. So what is the
No.
nafkamina? We
Oh,
don't know. So what is the nafkamina?
but you're asking a little. You're asking the
The Rambam
jumping.
wrote it.
Rambam wrote that Bnei Yishmael
No,
and
but-
Yoim are mechayiv.
No,
Yishmael and the Arabs.
Well, yeah, I got it. But what is the nafkamina? Even the Arabs are not Bnei Ishmael.
That's the Kash of the Shagas Aryeh.
Exactly. So why the Rambam?
That's the Shagas Aryeh's question. He's saying today we don't know who's who,
But
so you have to go basar
Got
roiv,
it,
and
but
there's no problem.
But the Rambam knew that also. Well,
That's it. He says that Rambam. He says that Rambam himself other places brings the Sachedev and the Val the whole
Exactly.
world.
So why he wrote it down.
Why does he write this? That's the kasha. Yeah, you have the same kasha the Shagas
It's the
Aryeh.
Kashi and the Rambam.
Yeah, the kasha and the Rambam.
Anyone has answered?
The very shvera shtickle. The Tzemach Tzedek writes about the Shagas Aryeh. Is the Shagas Aryeh had a question. I remember what it was. The shtickle Torah. And Tzemach Tzedek writes that I my whole body shakes when if I want to answer something from the Shagas Aryeh because the entire Shas was on his fingertips. Also Tzemach Tzedek was like he was mefached. He said, "I'm Kol Gufi nidad to go and answer up something from the Shagas Aryeh," but he gave an answer. He said he's nervous. Shagas Aryeh was such a big guy that the other Goinim felt like.
Where was it?
What years he was living? Shagataria.
שואלים של הצמח צדק. Oh, it wasn't ליטא, no?
עכשיו יותר מוקדם.
זה מוגדר, אז איך הוא ענה לו?
יותר מוקדם אצל מצד.
אז איך הוא ענה לו?
לא. הוא ענה לו בספרים, בספר, הוא כתב שיכולים לענות, לחלוק עליו.
לחלוק עליו.
בספר, לא בפנים.
לא, חשבתי
לא, הוא היה קודם.
כן? לא
Yeah.
בליטא, לא?
כן, אבל...
What's it, 300 years, 400 years?
300 years. 300 years.
The third about Shagataria.
Maisa, he has another shayla. So like this. I Bechlal don't understand the kasha. Shagas Ay's kasha is that you should go basar roiv, go after roiv, and say that everyone is. I'm sorry, that they're all potter. They're all potter because you go bas like Sanchedev. When someone wants to come back call, we say
you don't go by Pater road, by
that was the son of the native Yehuda wanted to answer the Shagas Ay's question. Minchas Chinuch came along and said that doesn't work because if you say we don't go basaroiv, then you should mechayev all the ummas in the world. Because Sanchedev mixed them all up.
So we don't know.
We don't know. And you go and by goyim you're chayish to a mute, because we don't go by roiv. So all be chayev. Because I don't understand what you're answering.
Either all chayev or
Yeah.
all.
That's the Shagas Ari. That's the Minchas Chinuch saying he doesn't understand the answer of the son of the Nid Yehuda to the Shagas Ari. And therefore he holds the Shagas Ari's kasha בתוקפו עמדס.
אבל כתוב, ביצחק יקרא לך זרע, לא בישמעאל. So ישמעאל is חוויה ולא.
No, because he was מסעד בני קטורה, התערבו, בני קטורה נולדו אחר.
No, I understand, but I'm saying, the pasuk say clearly, כי ביצחק יקרא לך זרע.
כן, אבל אנחנו לא יודעים מי הם בני ישמעאל היום. כי שהם התערבו זה בזה.
הפסוק אומר בפירוש, כי ביצחק יקרא לך זרע. הזרע שלך זה יצחק. ישמעאל not mentioned at all. So Ishmael will be chayv at all.
He's
not
not.
cute on him.
No. Oh, then, for future days.
Exactly.
Then he was.
Ishmael, no problem.
No, it's like Kol Yulidei.
But the Rambam is talking about Bnei Ishmael.
Kol Yulidei Beisei. Kol Yulidei Beisei.
Yeah, but
no, היה מצווה מיוחדת שכל מי שהיה חי אז,
נכון,
היה,
בדיוק.
שמואל היה צריך, אבל הילדים שלו לא היה צריך.
בדיוק, זה מה שאני אומר, מה השאלה בכלל?
כשבני ישמעאל התערבו עם בני קטורה, בני קטורה כן חייבים.
כן, אבל החיוב בכלל, מי יקרא לך זרע זה ביצחק, לא בישמעאל, אז יצחק.
בני קטורה הם אחרי יצחק, נולדו אחרי יצחק, זה שהם כן חייבו, שהם מזרע אברהם.
הם נחשבים לזרע אברהם?
כן.
באיזה צורה? האחרים שלו.
לגבי ברית מילה.
לגבי מה?
לגבי ברית מילה. רק לגבי ברית מילה. אנחנו לומדים שבני קטורה חייבים, אבל לא בני ישמעאל.
גם לעתיד?
כן.
יש לימוד שגם לעתיד הם חייבים?
ילדים יהודים.
נכון. זה הבעיה.
אז למה שלא...
לכן הערבים שונאים אותנו, כי יש מים יהודים. כן. אז לכאורה אם בן תורה מגיע, הוא צריך רק טבילה. צריך לחתוך לנו את הכל, לא? לכאורה, זה הכל.
את כל הגוף.
ובזה הוא נהיה גר? זהו.
I want to just be mamshich with this thing. 1 minute, be mamshich with this thing. So we're holding over here is that the Minchas Chinuch says we have a Shagas Ari has a question. L'choida, I don't understand why should Bnei Yishmael be chayiv today. L'choida after Sanchedev Meval the Olam, Kol man the parish miruba parish they're all potter. That's what he says. And the Ram himself holds of this, and other places we see that he says mutalave bekol, but it didn't Sanchedev. The son of the Nid Yehuda came and was miyashiv, and he says, "Listen, the klal is the chiddush, yishmak a chiddush, a chap. The whole klal achir rabim lahati is only by Bnei Yisrael. We don't have any by goyim. We don't have to go achir rabim. So says that since the case when it comes to the din of lavi bakol, this is negeya to klal Yisrael. There we go basar roiv." Goyim. Therefore, any guy that comes to the guy, we allow him to come because we go by Sarai because it's negate to Yisrael. And if you negate to Yisrael, you do go Sarai. Shenki the Goyim b'fnei atzmon, b'nei Yishmael, b'nei Ketura. I'm sorry, all the Ummei Sa'olam, The fact that all the Ummah Sa'olam came in this Bible, we don't go Basarayv. So they're still Chayiv. That's why the Rambam said they're Chayiv.
All of them
Because you don't go Basarayv.
Very
It
good.
says, ask, right, by a goy. Ask the Shagas Hari, if you don't go Basarayv, then not only Bnei Yishmael should be Chayiv,
Everybody.
the whole world should be Chayiv. So I don't understand what you're saying. So the Shiloh still remains. He says now himself, the Minchas Chinuch, that I myself don't understand the Kasha of the Shagas Hari. He doesn't have an answer, but he has a question differently. He says, Shagas Hari says he doesn't understand why the Bnei Yishmael are Chayiv, because you go after Roiv Goyim. He says like this. This din of going after Roiv, there's a klal in halacha, when they have 9 stores that are serving kosher, and one store is serving treif,
All the Polish,
and I go and I buy a piece of meat for one of the stores,
kosher.
and I don't remember which, 1 minute, I don't remember which store I bought it from. Maybe I went into the
Treif.
the
The
the,
nine Jewish
the
kosher.
9 kosher stores, or maybe I went into the treif store. The halacha is it's treif. We say treif, even though it's roiv,
Because kavua.
kavua. Right, very good. You have a klal called kavua. Anything when the isser is kavua, it's there and it's kavua.
You can't take it
We
out.
treat it not like roiv. We always treat it like 50-50, even though it's 9 and 1. Statistically, I say this is 9 stores kosher, 1 store misprobably took it from the 9 stores kosher. But the halacha is that we limit the din of roiv. We don't say achen rab lahatis in a case where the isser is kavua b'mekoima. Since there's a store there, you went into the store. The isser didn't move away. The isser was there, and you went into the store. It's a shayla if this is a svara or this is a gzeiras hakasuf, but this is a chiddush.
It's more like
Whenever there is kavua, we don't say the klal of roiv. We say mechzamech. Now, whenever the piece of meat, you find a piece of meat in that city that has the 9 kosher stores and 1 treifa store, you find a package of meat in a plastic, you find outside, there's no way to tell which store it came from. It's the same package they all make. No way to tell. We say you're allowed to have it. Why? Roiv.
called the Polish.
Called the parish, meiruba parish.
It's not kavur.
Not kavua anymore. It left the store. It's nifrash. It's not kavua. So we apply the klal of roiv. It says the Minchas Chinuch, Shagas Aryeh, you're asking a kasha. You're saying, and he protects his question from everyone's asking questions. He protects the Shagas Aryeh's question, but now he has his own problem with the Shagas Aryeh's question. He says like this: you Shagas Aryeh, he doesn't have an answer. He just have a question to his question. You're saying that why don't we go Basar Roiv and all the Ummah Sa'olam are Potter, so Bnei Yishmael should also be Potter because we go after Roiv. No. We only go after Roiv, says the Minchas Chinuch, when it's Parish,
Not kavur.
not Kavua. When a guy comes to the Bezdin, he was Parish from the Roiv, we say, yeah, Mutter Lave Bakol, because we say he was Parish from the Roiv. Roiv Ummah Sa'olam, Mutter Lave Bakol. But over here, you want to talk to me about the Goyim, not that they came to the Bezdin, Lave Bakol. That the Goyim b'Mekoymam, where they live, they are Potter. You Shagas, I want to say they should be Potter from Mila
Same like this.
because of Roiv. When do we apply the klal of Roiv? When it's Parish. When the guy comes from amongst the Goyim and he comes into the klal, he says, I want to be Megayer. So we say, where did you come from? You came from the Roiv. Roiv are okay, love it. But if the guy didn't come to the Bezdin, the Goyim are living in their tents, in their houses, wherever they're living in the world. Now the question is, if where they are b'mkoymam, are they chayiv and mila or not? Are they chayiv and mila or not? Why should we go after the roiv? It's kavua. They are kavua b'mkoymam, and we don't know who's who. So when a guy steps out from his city and he comes to the Kalal Yisrael, he says, I'm leaving the Ummah Sa'olam, I want to come to you. He's Pirish from the roiv, and he comes. So we say he was Pirish from the roiv. He's not from Amin, Moav, or Mitzrayim. But if the guy didn't come to us, they are here where they live in Saudi Arabia and all the lands where they live. The Shaila, if they're Chayiv and Mila or not. So you, Shagasar, you asked, let's go. You should go once Sanchedav mixed up the world. You should go Basar Roiv, and everyone should be Potter. I think fakert. There is no kalal of Roiv over here because they're all kavua, and they should all be chayiv.
should be potter, not
No. Should all be chayiv because there's no Roiv.
Kavua.
Shagas Ari want this question. Remember, Shagas Ari's question in the Rambam was, why only are Bnei Yishmael chayiv? The Sanchedav came and mixed up the whole world. We don't know who's who. No one has yichus anymore.
Right.
The Goyim don't have yichus anymore. You can't say, I'm a Gezha Mitzri all the way back. You can't say this. I'm a Gezha Mitzri. We don't say that. We say that they're all mixed up, and whenever a Goy comes to Megayer, we say, man, the Parish, Miruba Parish, you're allowed to be Megayer because it's rabbis from the other Ayin Umas Shamutalavikal. So the Shagas Ari Bazoi, why did Bnei Yishmael Chayiv in Keturah today, in Mila? The Bnei Yishmael mixed up with all the Umas, which are Roiv over the Bnei Yishmael. Kol Olam, so you're Ayin Umat Yoter Me Uma Achat. And Kulam Yu Keturim Ayom. And Anach Lo Yodim Bechlam Mi Hem Bnei Yishmael. That's a Shagas Ari's kasha. He says, I don't understand this. You don't apply the klal of Roiv when it's Kavua. By the story of Lavi Bakal, the guy is coming to the Bezin. He's Pirish from the Goyim. He leaves them. He comes to Klal Yisrael. He's not been Mekoime where he lives in his Mokim. He's coming to you and he says, I want to join Klal Yisrael. He was Pirish. The Klal is, whenever you're Pirish, you go after the Roiv. That's why we go after the Roiv. But now you're asking me if the Goyim, when they live in their cities, in their places, they're Chayiv and Mila or not. So you want to tell me that they should be Potter because of Roiv? Then you don't apply the klal of Roiv when they're kavua. It's like the Teisha Chanuyit, the treif.
Who say they are kavua?
They're in their city. They're not.
Who say they are in the city? They're not from the city. They say we are Egyptian, we are Jordan, we are Jew. Who said they're not? The concept of kavua, you can't say it.
So your answer, he says, but that says now the efsher, even the kulam 90,
right?
They all moved around. And they moved into different cities. B'shas hanedida, when they moved, batal hakviut, and we don't say this kalal anymore, kavua. Now he's re-answering the question of the Shagzai. Shagzai now remains with this kasha.
Right.
So you go basar. You could go basar. If you could go basar, then they should be potter. L'maisa, he says, he doesn't know. Tzarech iyun. This is a bomb question in the Rambam. We can't make sense out of it. Why should Bnei Yishmael be chayiv in Mila? We go Sanchedav was maval the kol oil, and we go after Rav. This is the big kasha, famous kasha. They shouldn't be chayiv. L'maisa lahalacha, he says interesting thing. Says ubekuf hadin. He doesn't know l'maisa. He has questions. Shagas Aryeh, he has questions. And he understands the question. But he says, halacha l'maisa. Since the Rambam paskin that Bnei Keturah are chayav, and the Ravid, who's always Rabbi Ben Avram Ben David, the Ravid was always chaylik with the Rambam, right? And he's known, he says he's like a Baal Hariv. He's always Riv in Ish Rivay. Yeah, always Riv. Over here, the Ravid does not be chaylik with him. So he says a lashon, Haidat Baal Riv, Haravid Zal. Yesh l'cha Haidat Baal Riv, that he's masking. And the poskim say, whenever the Ravid doesn't argue, it means it's not nachshav l'dei achat the poskim. Ish kan shtei rishonim. Aramam v'Aravid shtei omrim et zeh. Ish shtei shitot kan shomim. Now, so therefore, mi yuchol litchot evreim bekal. La'alacha l'maisa, בין אנחנו מבינים את זה, לא מבינים את זה, אבל הרמב"ם והראב"ד סוברים כך. מי יכול לדחות דברים בקהל, ועדי מצווה לא מלויסם. However, he says, Shabbos, you can't be doicha Shabbos, because of suffix.
You can make the bris milah, but not in Shabbos.
Not in Shabbos. Now, one other point he pointed out in the ending, he says that he wrote somewhere else that according to the Rambam, he wants to learn that the Bnei Keturah, even the Chayiv and Mila, they're not Chayiv and Priya. Nachnu Simgam Priya. Lo Chayiv and Priya. Priya was given by Matan Torah, They
Not
were
for
not
Jews.
nichlal in Matan Torah, so they're not chayiv in priya. Another thing he says,
But it's Yosef, right?
another thing he says, a very interesting thing, that even Ladas HaRambam, that B'nai Yishmol and B'nai Keturah chayav memila hayom gam hayom, he says l'chayda we don't have any chiyuv to do it for them. We could help them, but we're not chayiv to help them.
If they want to do the bris,
They can do it. Why we're not chayiv? So l'chayda the whole din of arvus kol ha'yisol arevim zalazeh l'chayda rak bein b'nei yisol nachnu chayavim lazor l'sheni to do a mitzvah. We are chayiv to help him do a mitzvah, but we're not chayiv to help the goyim keep their mitzvahs. We don't have a chiyuv.
we have a chiyuv to teach him Sheva mitzvahs. That's it.
אבל הרבי יצא עם זה.
So that's our chiyuv. To help him to do Sheva mitzvahs. That's it.
אבל אם הם רוצים לבוא בקהל ישראל, אחרי 7 מצוות בני נוח,
Yeah, but this, by the way, he's misupak with that. He says, "Gam efshar, efshar sheloimer that ulay anachnu lo chayovim." There's a little piece of Minchas Chinuch. Minchas Chinuch and the parsha every week has very interesting shakavatarian discussion every week. And the parsha, he goes through things very interesting.
Because he count the mitzvahs, so every mitzvah he wants to know exactly.
אבא, סנחריב, ציץ בלאגן, אבא נמרוד. הנמרוד מרד. הקדוש ברוך
But
הוא
we're
כן
talking
דן,
about Bilbul Halmot. So Bilbul Kol Halmot. He took the Aseret Hashvatim. Ad hayem אנחנו לא יודעים מאיפה Aseret Hashvatim. Is who Bilbul at Yuchasim. Mix everyone up. So we don't really know really who's who. No one could say, I'm here all the way back, from Yitzias Mitzrayim.
כהנים הלוויים, לא.
Klal Yisrael, we have the Yichus still. We're keeping a Yichus. But the Goyim, they not care about Yichus. They don't have a Yichus going all the way back.
You know, the Syrian community, every duek is a Levi. They know from Elia Cohen. They say the descendants from Elia Cohen. So that's what I heard.
אז אם זה
What does the Wek mean?
מדייק.
It's just a name. It's not like Cohen, Katz, which means something.
רגע, אז
Maybe they have a meaning.
אבל
I don't
אצל
know.
גויים הייחוס הולך אחרי האבא.
Huh?
אצל גויים הייחוס הולך אחרי האבא. עכשיו אתה אומר לי בני קטורה, אין בעיה, בני קטורה. אבל בני קטורה, יכול להיות שהם בעצמם כבר לא ישמעאלים, יכול להיות שאתה סינים עם יפנים. אז אין להם ייחוס של בני קטורה.
כן,
Thank you,
לא יודעים
Father.
היום.
לא, כי הייחוס
אבל במי
של גוי הולך אחרי האבא. אז אתה אומר לי בני קטורה, אין בעיה, בני קטורה. בני קטורה התחתנו, לך תדע, עם מצרים, יפנים, גרוזינים, לא משנה. אז כבר אין להם את הייחוס של בני קטורה בעצמם. כי הייחוס אצל גוי הולך אחרי האבא.
כן,
אז ממילא אין ייחוס. אתה לא יכול להגיד ישמעאלי.
כן, אבל יש בנים, הרבה משפחות יש בנים, ויש להם בנים, ויש בן אחר בן.
כן, אבל...
יש כהנים היום. ממש יש כהנים היום. זה בן אחר בן.
בסדר, אבל עדיין יהודי הולך אחרי האמא.
כן.
אז אין בעיה. אבל גוי הולך אחרי האבא.
כן.
עכשיו, אתה אומר לי בני קטורה. אין בעיה, בני קטורה. בני קטורה האלה, הייחוס שלהם זה האמא שלהם קטורה.
כן.
זה הכל.
שיהודייה.
בסדר, היא...
לא, אברהם אבינו.
כן, אבל היום למה אתה קורא להם בני
תורה
קטורה?
יקרה.
אני מבין שאתה יודע, למה אתה קורא להם בני קטורה? אם תגיד לי בני אברהם, אני מבין. אתה קורא להם בני קטורה. ואצל גוי הולך ייחוס אחרי האבא.
אצל הגוי האבא זה בעיה.
אבא שלהם זה אברהם אבינו.
לא, בסדר.
כן, אנחנו אומרים בני קטורה להבחין שזה לא משמואל. אלה שמואל גם כן הגיעו מאברהם.
כולם ממזרים.
בדיוק.
אין שם אבא.
בדיוק, אין אבא. אז איך אתה יכול להגיד לי ש...
לארבעה ילדים.
החיוב על בני קטורה או בני
ורק
ישמעאל?
על נשואה.
רק הבני קטורה.
והילד.
אני אומר שבני קטורה התערבו היום בני ישמעאל, כולם התערבו.
בדיוק.
אז אנחנו לא יודעים מי מבני קטורה בישמעאל, וכולם
אז לפי...
חייבים מספק.
אז רגע, לפי הרמב"ם, בני קטורה זה בני ישמעאל?
ואחד שוכבת, יש לה ילד.
הם לא, זה לא, היום אנחנו לא יכולים להבחין מי.
כן, אבל לפי מה שהרמב"ם אומר, בני קטורה זה בני ישמעאל?
היום? כן.
בני קטורה זה בני ישמעאל?
כן. כל הערבים הם, ואני אומר שהיום הם עושים את זה, הם עושים את זה.
הם עושים, אני יודע.
מכוח זה.
בסדר.
Interesting, by the way, I knew a male from England. He told me he gets a lot of Muslims. They
Even the
certain
hospital.
want to
certain
marry
places, certain community somewhere, like maybe a certain place, and they ask him in England, in London, to make the brism for
He
them.
doesn't do prayer.
It does it in the hospital for them, you know.
Yeah, the hospital doing all
But
the
why
time.
why they call her Torah and not Hagar? She was Hagar before beginning.
Yeah, so
And then he
Chazal
remarried to her Abraham.
right.
And then
בגלל
changed
בלק,
the name.
היא הייתה מקטר, היא הייתה...
לפני זה לא הייתה מקטרת.
לא מטפלת.
הייתה שק טוב.
מטפלת.
And love myself. Say this.
You
Let's
mean
go on one halacha.
Oh, I wasn't sure if we're going to say this. I was thinking originally I would say, but on the way, every red light, I was looking at it to prepare.
very interesting.
Your red lights, you head on the way.
Okay.
Dinner. What about
Din Hashkomas Haboker Boit Hasifim Yehudim and Tema Oimer. The first halacha.
you say Yehuda?
Shulchan
The
Aruch.
Tema is Yehuda just here.
Oh, Havi Az Kanomer. V'Kal Kanesher. Rotz Katzvi. V'Giber Kari. Lases Itzoin Avicha Shebashamayim. As Kanomer. Why do you need to be a Kanomer? You should not be litbayesh. The Adam Hamal Igim. People are laughing at you, keeping mitzvahs, Torah. V'giber kari, iker hagvuru believe. There's gabra yitzay, not giber that you should go and lift weights. Maybe it's good for health reasons, but not this. The Shulchan Aruch meant. Iker hagvuru believe. There's gabra yitzay. L'natzchay, k'giber mizgaber al soini. L'natzchay la'pilei l'oretz. V'chein tzara called him Haboker l'zgaber ayitzrei kari. L'loko mishinosei koinim Haboker la'avodas haboirei boirei. V'dei shehu ma'ira shacher. Shekasav David HaMelech said, "Ma'ira shacher, I wake up in the morning. Ani ma'ira shacher ve'ein hashacher meir oisi. V'zu mida beininis." So he says a poil mamish the thing about Izgaber Kari that you should misgaber on yourself in the morning to get up early.
Once was for bring from the middle both of us, and he said there was a winter in Russia, cold, really cold. I had to get up in the morning. And it's our company. He said, "It's so cold outside, so freezing. Sleep another half an hour." She said, "Then what you doing, officer?"
That's a
You
good
heard this before?
Reminds me that say that there was Yitzhak Abaditchev after he got married. So he was he was in the staying by his in-laws for Yom Tov, and they didn't yet know who he was. They knew he was a chashuv person, but didn't know he was a tzaddik. And so they when he came to shul, they gave him the kibbutz to read the psukim of the Ata Haresa in the shul. So he came to go take the talis. Minik that they had to wear a talis by the Ata Haresa.
We don't have it.
We don't have this minik, but he went towards the talis. He picked it up, and then he put it. Then he said, "Oh, you're a goyin. So do that, Teresa, if you're a goyin." So he put it down. Then he picks up the talis. He says, "Du bist a chassid." So do that, Teresa, and he puts it down. Then he went back to the seat. He sat down. He's not saying it, and they gave someone else. His father-in-law was embarrassed. So this is making like a busha. What's going on over here? Is something wrong with him? It's embarrassing. The father-in-law was happy to his son-in-law, a new son-in-law, introduce him to the community. So after the shul, he says to him, what's going on over there? He said like this: I went up to take the talis. I looked and I see the Yetzer Hara is also there with me. He wants to come with me to say it. Meaning, in other words, he's enjoying the kavod. So he enjoys the kavod. The whole shul is going to say. So he turns to him and says, "Mela me, I'm a lamdin. I learned and everything. But who are you? What's your yichus?" So the Yetzer Hara told me back. What do you mean? I'm also a lamdin. So he said, how did you become a lamdin? He said, when you were becoming a lamdan, I was also becoming a lamdan. In other words, you were learning to be a lamdan. The Yetzer Hara also was part of it and enjoyed it. So he said to him, I learned by Rebbes. I learned what Chassidus is. I learned. Who are you? So he says, I also learned Chassidus. I know. So he said, what do you know? How did you ever learn Chassidus? What do you mean? Wherever you were learning Chassidus, I was there too. So he told him, since you feel that you're a lamdan and you feel a chassid, so you go say the Atar Reisa. And he went sat down. So he couldn't bring himself to do it because of the Midas Hagaiva. So he couldn't bring himself to do it. After he heard that, his father-in-law realized he has a chashiv son-in-law.
A big honor.
Wow.
Siv Beis, Avoroi v'chol Yerushalayim chol achayil ashenog Hashem belibei lokum chatzos halayla. We send the ending of Aleph. That's a midah beininus, average midah to get up. This is the average midah is to get up before dawn. The Yerushalayim makes up a chatzos.
We are Benani.
Hey,
I don't know if we're baining up over here. You have to get up before
According to this.
it's a little easier these days to get up. When the clock's going to change, it's going to get harder, right? So,
Some people cannot get up even. Not this and not.
Lokum achatzos halayla lekoinen ma'at b'mizmer al nahares bavo chayotze boy k'moy shenitfas b'sidurim al churban beis hamikdash b'golos hashchina and shekasav kumi roini b'layla l'reish hashmoides haboker. K'moy shakadosh baruch hu mekoinen beisihi v'oimer oy li shechrafti is beisi. Hashem at that time it says the Eibishter himself is misabel on the churban, and it's oily. Woe is to me that I destroyed my home. So toy, and therefore it's also alright for us at that time also. Toiv ma'at bekavana, mehar beis shalei bekavana. Better to say less with kavana than to say more sukkim without kavana. After you finish the tikkun chatzos, you should be lasik b'toyre shabbat peh ad oir hayoim until the morning.
What time you're sleeping?
זה כבר לא צריך לקום.
As soon as it gets dark, those days there was no street lights, there was no lights in the home. It was dark at night,
we'll
right?
go to sleep early.
You gotta sleep early.
8 o'clock to 12 o'clock, that's it.
אבל הוא לומד
The
כל
work
הלילה.
day surrounded,
By the
surrounded with the sun.
Not like now.
When you went to sleep, it was dark. You went to sleep earlier.
Shkoya.
A different type of seder.
Hello.
We have exactly 10, so we can stop.
Regards to your son.
מה זה?
Regards to your son.
Thank you. What are you saying?
I don't know. I'm sending him regards.
Thank you. I saw you. It's supposed to be here also. I don't know where is it. Is it wrong?
Hey, send him my best. Thank you everyone for joining.
להגיד תיקון חצות.
עד 4, הולך
Thank you.
מתפלל,
Shevaya.
אמן.
Hi, Gesund Pinchas. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
זה אליהו. תודה רבה.